Now, in Bahrain, 21 doctors have been cleared of involvement in illegal anti-government protests. Their arrest was part of a crackdown on pro-reform demonstrations that started back in February 2011. But earlier I spoke to Alexei Rozhevsky, our correspondent who spent a long time in Bahrain, reporting for us.
When I came to Salmania Hospital, which is the main medical institution in Bahrain, it looked more like a fortress with riot police protecting its doors, and for no reason we just couldn't get in and talk to the doctors. But I did manage to talk to some of them, and things they told me were just astonishing.
Like what?
They told me that if you were a protester, if you were part of the opposition, you are injured at a protest, you're being delivered to the hospital, there's a high chance you will be delivered to a basement of the hospital and tortured there. One of the doctors told me that a member of a royal family was personally involved in torturing her. She electrocuted her, beat her up, and did some horrible things with her. This woman, this member of the royal family, later went on trial, as we know. But still, I mean, things happen like that.
Well,
Imagine
what have the authorities have to say? I mean, I don't know how much contact you had with the authorities. What have they had to say about that?
Well, credit to the Bahraini authorities. We had huge access to the governmental spokespeople, and they all claimed in one voice that those doctors were performing acts of national treason, that they were conspiring against the regime, that they were doing illegal stuff, and they were actually bringing weapons into the hospital. Something, of course, denied by the...
What about the torture allegations? Did anyone have a chance to put that to them?
Certainly. I mean, I asked them about the torture, but they refuted all such allegations, saying that nothing like this took place. Later, after we came back from Bahrain, it emerged that the royal member of the royal family went on trial for the alleged torture.
I mean, what is life like there at the moment? We've been reporting about this for months now and years now, saying that a lot of the rest of the world's media isn't talking about it. What is the scale of the protest movement there now? Well,
if you go to Bahrain, you'll see a very well civilized state, beautiful roads, nice infrastructure, hotels, nightclubs. Everything is absolutely perfect there. It's one of the most open states in the Gulf, I could say. But if you just go into Shia villages, just off the road, just a little closer to the city, to Manama, the capital city, you'll see the hardcore of the protest movement, the poor people who are suffering, who want the change in their country. You can never estimate, you can never enumerate how many people are there. There could be thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands. But definitely the movement is strong, and they're very angry, I could say, because...
So crucially, what's the government doing about it? If on one hand they're saying the protesters are committing treason against the state, I guess that means they're not listening?
In a way, of course, because the torture allegations and the claims by the human rights activists are suggesting clearly that this is a dead end. There's no solution to the situation. One side wants to change. The other side clearly doesn't want this change. They say, the government says it's open for dialogue. They want to clearly change the whole situation and appease the opposition. But as far as we can see, there are protests happening every day. Nothing's happening. Nothing's changing.
That was Alexei Rozhevsky, who was with me a short time ago. Well, let's now talk to a Bahraini doctor who knows a lot about this. She's in fact faced similar charges herself. She faced 5 years in jail. She's Fatima Haj, and now she has been cleared. You were acquitted back in 2011, weren't you? Well, you've written about what you went through, and I've just read it. You went through hell. Tell us what you had to go through. Tell our viewers.
Well, first of all, thank you for requiring me to be here on the show. Yes, true, I've been acquitted. That was back in 2012, June. But I've been, as you mentioned, I've been detained or actually kidnapped from my own apartment. And we were a group of 20 doctors and the group of felony. Medics kept disappearing from their houses after house riot, from hospitals, from theater rooms. And then we just kept disappearing. We were not allowed to give phone calls to lawyers or our family. We were blindfolded, handcuffed most of the time during the interrogation. We were forced to sign false confessions blindly without reading them. And that these confessions were taken or extracted by severe torture. And I mean by severe torture, physical and psychological torture. We've been denied from sleeping for days. We were standing for days, not given food or fluids. We were hardly getting to a toilet. No showers for lots of time, beating, using different wood sticks, hoses, that's like hollow pipes, electrocution in the head, sexual harassment, threats to be killed and raped. All of that just to get extraction of confessions. To make their stories that we possessed weapons in the hospital, we occupied the hospital, We were trying to overthrow the monarchy. We denied medical care to certain sects.
So what were you charged with, Fatima? What were they trying to pin on you? What was the actual charge?
I didn't know what my charges at the beginning were, but then I found myself at the military court, and then there they read my charges, and they were as silly as it goes. Like I confessed that I stole 100 bags of blood, and I gave it to protesters so that they can spill it on themselves to fabricate their
Was
injuries.
any mention made that what they were actually trying to get at was the fact that you were treating protesters? Was that ever formally put to you?
No, never. Because you know, doing that, it's just basically they're gonna break their credibility, and they will show the whole world that they are revenging, you know, or they are torturing us just because that we treated wounded people. But then they turned all these into political accusations, like inciting hatred against the government, spreading false news, confiscating of blood and drugs from the hospital, and participating in illegal gathering.
Briefly, we've only got 30 seconds. I'm so sorry to rush you. Briefly, even now it's not over for you, is it? I've read a report saying that every time you look at your little boy, Yusuf, he's only, what, 3-4 years old, you're worried every time you give him a hug, you might not see him again. You're actually in fear of your life. This is what you've said in a report. Is that still true?
Well, he's 4 right now, and I've been acquitted twice, but then the threat is still, you know, anyone who talks to the media or to the governmental official or still are talking about the things that's happening in the country are at risk to be summoned, threatened, of being imprisoned for a long time for trying to incite hatred against the government or spread false news. And then there are other types of harassment that goes like threats on the social media and trying to not sending us back to work and putting, you know, lots of pressure on us and trying to get a job, a decent career in this country.
Fatima, thanks for being on the line. Fatima Haji there, a Bahraini doctor who's, as we say, now been acquitted. Thank you ever so much.